ever tightening emissions regulations, even Toyota has talked about introducing a petrol-electric hybrid version of its next Land Cruiser, the 300 series. But hybrid technology for tow vehicles isn't the way of the future because it's already here with the likes of the Porsche Cayenne E-Hybrid. Today we're going to compare that hybrid technology with something we're a little bit more familiar with for towing, and that is the turbo diesel. So we've got along for the ride two fairly high-tech examples of the turbo diesel. That is the 4-litre triple turbo diesel V8 Audi SQ7 and the 3-litre V6 turbo diesel Volkswagen Touareg 190 TDI. These three vehicles all share the same platform. They have a similar 8-speed auto transmission and they all have about the same curb weight. So what we're looking at here is powertrain technology and how well each performs for towing duties. We've brought along an Avida Topaz multi-terrain off-road caravan that weighs just under 3 tonnes for this tow test. We're going to hitch it up to each of these three vehicles and take it on our 200k loop, looking at things like towing performance, towing economy, engine braking down hills, and also towing performance up hills. All right, let's get cracking. Now, as a bit of an equaliser, all these three vehicles have an 8-speed automatic transmission. And as mentioned, they all share the same platform. Different bodies, many differences, but at least we're playing with one base to work on to see which technology works the best. So we've just refueled the Cayenne E-Hybrid and we've driven 5Ks, and the battery range has already, for the EV only operation, has already gone from 40 to 30 kilometres with a total consumption of 43 or 44 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. Now this is in hybrid auto setting, which means the vehicle optimises basically between the petrol engine and the electric motor according to conditions. Now it's the most weird sensation to be towing almost 3 tonnes of caravan behind you and the engine's off, but you're driving along on the flats at 60 kilometres an hour, the big caravan behind, no petrol engine, just battery power. Of course, that's not going to last because clearly with such a low battery range, that's not what it's intended for. You're not going to do long distance touring just on your battery. You're going to get, well, they say up to 44 kilometres out of the battery EV only. The Cayenne E-Hybrid has heaps of power. You know, if you're thinking of EVs or electric motors in golf carts and being basically a gutless thing, this hybrid is not that at all. It's got plenty of power whether you're towing or not. So climbing up steep hills at 100 kilometres an hour, 3 tonnes of caravan behind, no sweat, this will do it really easily. Being a Porsche, this V6 isn't your traditional V6 engine. It's got plenty of power on its own, 250 kilowatts just out of the petrol engine. And when you put your foot down, not only does it go really well, it sounds glorious. So our test loop has a lot of hills on it, so this is either going to make or break the hybrid in terms of its fuel efficiency. We've already done 140 kilometres and we're looking at a fairly high fuel consumption figure so far. If the trip meter's anything to go by, it's showing 18.1 litres per 100, which is not fantastic, but having said that, the hybrid's the first cab off the rank. We still have the 2 turbo diesels to go. So we're now on the loop with the Volkswagen. Initial impressions, well, consumption so far, it's averaging 12.1 litres per 100, which is not a bad start. Obviously that's going to change through the course of the 200k loop. The engine's really smooth and quiet. The turbo lag that it has when you're not towing isn't as obvious. Getting off the mark's really quite easy with the caravan on. The Touareg pulls like a train. It really just gets along. This engine is a really good one. Climbing a hill now, 88 k's an hour, 5th gear, about 2,500 RPM. It's just, you know, like a quarter throttle, doing it really easily. Because the torque is, you know, comes on fairly low, you're not pushing it as hard as, say, for example, the Cayenne E-Hybrid. Not as much throttle pressure just to keep up a good speed. The Volkswagen's been pretty relaxed on the hilly B roads we've been on. It doesn't require as much effort to get up the hills as the Cayenne does. It's just more relaxed about it. Even though this is a pretty free revving V6 turbo diesel, it's got really good engine braking. It will peg back speed quite well. climbing the hills. Not as quite as much punch as the Cayenne, or even I think the SQ7, but certainly it gets up no worries. It's yeah, it's got good performance. Now, fuel consumption in the Touareg, we're up to 16.8 litres per 100 at the moment, according to the trip computer. So that's pretty close to the E-Hybrid's average of 17.5, but we've got another about 70 or 80 k's to go, and so we'll see what the Touareg does. The Audi's got 20 kilowatts less than the Porsche, but where it kills it, and the Volkswagen, is with torque. It's got 900 Newton meters available from basically idle. What that means when you're towing is you've got such a weapon where you just need to keep checking sometimes that the caravan is still attached. It just responds with so much get up and go. We're very early on in the loop, so we'll see how it goes, but at the moment we're tracking at about 10.5 litres per 100, which is pretty impressive for a V8. You would expect it to be a bit thirstier than the other two, but so far it's not. My gut feeling is that it's going to chew more fuel than the others. You would think it would have to, but we'll see. But it's just, now put my foot down, and it's taking off. Like with the 3-ton caravan behind it, it is just belting along. This thing has so much get up and go. Look, despite having so much torque, the Audi shuffles a lot between, say, 5th gear and top gear, which is 8th gear, when you're cruising along with the van behind. Obviously, it's not just going to sit there in top gear all day long and chug along with its torque. It still needs to dive into, I guess, its power band to make the most of what it's got. But what it has, my God, I mean, it has just got so much performance. And I'll put my foot down now, and off we go. Like no other tow vehicle really that I've towed with 3 tons behind it. It is very responsive. There's a lot of chat about turbo diesels being on their deathbed because of emissions. They just can't meet future emissions. Well, if that's true, what a way to go out with the Audi SQ7. But in terms of the pinnacle of turbo diesel technology, I reckon this must be close to it. This may be the last hurrah for the high-tech diesel in an expensive SUV like this, which is a real shame. If you can afford it though, and you want the ultimate performance 3.5-ton tow vehicle, this technology is very impressive. So does hybrid technology work in a heavy-duty tow vehicle application? I think the answer is yes. Now, how is that relevant to you? Well, at the moment it's not. I mean, this thing starts at about 135k. But eventually, just like ABS brakes was only available in a high-end luxury vehicle, now it's in everything, this technology will trickle down to the regular tow vehicles. And I think it's a great technology. It really does work.